Competition presented by UAF Coal Mine. I'm Jesse Tyrell, a Homeland Security and Emergency Management major with concentration in public health.
My name is Bella Arona, and I am a UAF College of Business and Security Management student pursuing an interdisciplinary studies degree.
We are truly honored to be your MCs this evening as we bring AIC into your home. We appreciate all the creative ideas submitted to AIC. However, after a preliminary screening round, only 10 submissions have made it to the main division semifinals for ages 18 and up. You'll hear 5 of those ideas tonight. They will all be competing for cash prizes up to $15,000 and 4 kicker prizes. We have an expert panel of judges joining us today. I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming Jim Culley, the judges chair of the main division representing Mount McKinley Bank, Kathleen Hook from Doyon Utilities, Melissa Regg from GCI, Justin Seavey, a UAF alumnus and instructor representing our presenting sponsor, UAF Coal Mine, David Sandberg, also a UAF alumnus from Respec Engineering, Emily Winfield from Design Alaska, and one new judge joining the main division panel who is no stranger to AIC, Peter Webley from the UAF Center for Innovation.
The UAF Arctic Innovation Competition awards over $45,000 in cash prizes and awards, and could not have happened without the generous support of many sponsors, including our presenting sponsor, UAF Coal Mine. You are all invited to the 8-Star Event Center at 1 p.m. on Saturday, April 18th for food, door prizes, and the final round of presentations.
Since 2009, AIC's founding sponsors have supported innovation and economic development mission. These include AEDC, Design Alaska, Doyon Limited, FEDC, Kinross Alaska, JEDC, and Northern Bank. Alaska 529 supports
aspiration from the body, from the chest area to humidify the air in the mask. This will be effective down to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. There will be no hindrance in ventilation. You'll be able to compete in this mask. Professional athletes will be able to operate at 90 to 95% VO2 max, which is race pace. And that will be what will save skiing in Alaska, competitive cross-country skiing in Alaska, is by introducing this mask or masks like it, and then overcoming that fear of the temperature. This will be non-freezing, non-clogging, and the unit on the chest will wick away moisture from the core, helping with thermoregulation. Slide, please. So as we said, that should say easy air. The easy air uses the body's own water and energy to warm and humidify the inhaled air. And so we'll have a tube that will go from the chest with the wicking mechanism up into the mask. Slide, please. So this is important for a number of reasons. It'll be assembled in Alaska with domestic and foreign materials. It'll be shipped nationally and internationally. It'll provide jobs in the Fairbanks North Star Borough, and it'll keep major cross-country ski competitions in Alaska. And that's what we really want to do. We want to keep those in Alaska. We have a great cross-country ski trail right on campus, the Usabelly ski trail. And it would be a real shame if this rule went into effect and we were not able to host collegiate races, USSS races, and FIS races in our hometown. So we really need to have a solution to this problem. Each race brings about $1.2 million, each major event, into our community, and we want to keep that.
Thank you, Scott. In the interest of time, we will have 3 judges go in a specific order. It'll be Melissa, David, and then Justin will be asking questions this round.
Okay,
Melissa,
good.
if
I
you
get to
started-
start off, I guess. Thank you for the presentation, Scott. I appreciate it. I'm a cross-country skier, so I can understand kind of what you're talking about and the issues. Question. Isn't it going to be relatively hard to breathe in this mask? It just seems like it would be constricting. And then secondary to that, in a competition scenario, would everybody be required to wear a mask, or would it be optional here in Alaska? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question about whether everyone would be required. And that's something that would have to be undertaken by the governing body, USSS, and then FIS. Back in the day, everybody thought that wearing a helmet in alpine skiing was crazy. And then 1960, they required it at Squaw Valley at the Olympics for the downhill skiers. And now we don't even think about it. Everyone wears a helmet. And so this is along that type of progression. As far as the breathing and the ventilation, we're going to have large ports, and we're working with different materials on the vents in order to have proper airflow. And the goal is to have it nearly identical to not having the mask on. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be in such a way that it won't restrict ventilation for exercise up to 90-95% of VO2 max.
Thank you.
I guess I'm next. Thank you, Scott, for your presentation. This is interesting to me. I tried to get out on the river on cross-country skis at 40 below, and I could understand just how harsh that air is on your lungs. The product that I see, the picture, whether that's how it will look in the end or not, reminds me of a half-face respirator that you might see for doing particulate or vapor protection. And it sounds like it's got some way of heating. And so I'm guessing there's an energy source, maybe a battery pack or something, maybe some weight involved in that. So, and then the other part of that might be the sanitation. How would that be kept clean? So my question is, what's the maintenance and hygiene and effect to the user?
Yeah. So there won't be an external, there won't be a battery pack. There's enough warmth in your cheeks and in your lips to warm the air before it's inspired. So that's not a problem. And we're not talking about 80 degrees. We just needed to get up to 42 degrees, 38 to 42 degrees. So that's not an issue. Now, as far as keeping it clean, that's a great question, because you know, there's just going to be bacteria that if you don't take care of, it's just going to live in here. So the ports will be able to be taken off where the air is inhaled, and those and the whole mask you're going to soak in about a 10% bleach solution, and then just hang it up to air dry.
Thanks.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. So I again want to say thank you for your presentation. I certainly don't want to see our home field advantage taken away. So the rulemaking is interesting to me. I did not know that rule existed. Are there other? I guess my first question is: are there other events where the first iteration of the mask that you showed are required? Like, do skiers have experience participating in races where a mask is required?
I've never come across a ski race where a mask is required. That air trim that was in the slide deck from Scandinavia, that blue mask, oftentimes skiers will warm up with that. And then cool down with it. And so at cold temperatures, they think that warming up and cooling down with that mask is helpful to their breathing. Julia Kern from the United States of America, who's on the U.S. national team and the Olympic team, Julia Kern's the only person I know that has worn the air trim in competition, and she's done well with it. It wasn't like, you know, she was in 95th place or something. So she no longer wears it, and I haven't asked her why that is, but she has worn a mask in competition. So my goal is to we're going to bring up top level FIS skiers from the United States and from Europe, and we're going to pay them to come to Fairbanks and to Salcha, and they're going to try out this mask and see how it works and see the benefits of it, and then hopefully that they'll write testimonials, and you know, FIS and USSS will take notice.
Thank you.
What
there any
about
other questions from the
fogging? Is
judges?
there any? Sorry, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
I think about, you know, sunglasses or any goggles or anything. What about fogging from this mask?
Yeah, those other masks I show you do have a tendency to clog, and we're working on a material that is hydrophobic that will allow the moisture to escape before it ices up.
And that's a material not used in the other ones.
No.
All right, moving on. Great job, Scott. Now, before we move on to our next presenters, let's take a moment to highlight our kickers, which award $2,000 each. First up, the well-known Arctic kicker, sponsored by Respect Engineering, who specializes in innovating mission-critical solutions that enhance client success through integrated consulting and IT services. Alaska Student Kicker, sponsored by Mount McKinley Bank. Did you know that Mount McKinley Bank is the oldest and largest local financial institution in Fairbanks? The Climate Adaptation Kicker is sponsored by Alaska EPSCoR. It was created in 1979 to identify, develop, and best use a state's academic, science, and technology resources. Lastly, the Sustainability Kicker, sponsored by the Educational Legacy Fund. The Educational Legacy Fund supports organizations involved in public and STEM education, experiential, environmental, and educational, and sustainable business degrees.
The top 10 ideas compete for these 4 kickers. Let's get into those last 3 presentations. Brian Marvin is next up, Michael Marvin, excuse me, is up next with the HSI Relax Release. Remember to watch the countdown clock. Remember to turn your camera on. Do you
Is
see
it
your
working?
slides?
I can see me. I can see my slides.
All right, perfect. Give us a thumbs up when you're
I'm ready. Hi, everybody. I'm Brian Marvin. I am the owner of North River Fabrication, LLC, and I make the Holy Spirit inspired relax release. What differentiates it from the releases that are on the market right now is instead of using tension to release the shot, you relax to release the shot. Next slide, please. And here's the problem. In other words, the tension, the panic, it's not fun to shoot a bow and arrow when you're in that position, in that place. This is Carson. Carson's 12. He was struggling with the target panic. On January 20th, he shot a score of 146 out of 300 with his index finger release. And I gave him one of the HSIs to shoot on the 22nd. And then on March 24th, he shot a 238. So that's a 63% better shot. It really helps with target panic. It just helps the shooter relax more. I made the first prototype. I hadn't shot it 50 times. I took it to the local range, and I shot a 299 with 33 X's. So it's easy to learn to shoot, and again can be used very well as a trainer and to help people with their target panic. Next slide, please. So again, the arrow is released when the shooter relaxes their forearm muscles, and the hand naturally opens, and it pulls a rod back in the release, and it fires. So tension is released instead of increased. You can't misfire. When you draw the bow, you just grab it real tight with the hand and don't relax until you want the shot to fire. Again, it can really help with target panic. Next slide, please. Here are some of the basic parts of the release. It's very smooth. It's got a spring inside of it. There's a stainless steel spring inside of it. It has been tested to 140 pounds and can be shot as a 2-finger, a 3-finger, a 4-finger this way, or a 4-finger this way by changing the parts here. Next slide, please. My brothers and I attended the ATA show in Indianapolis in January, and I was told by one of the professional archers there that I had the only true innovation at the show. And I received interest from 7 different companies, manufacturers, to produce the release. I currently have 3 that are interested in producing it. Innovate Marquette has been fantastic, helping me refine the prototype. And I have releases for sale. We're that far along. My website is currently under construction, and I manufactured about 100 of the releases so far. And Innovate Marquette has printed about 40 carbon fiber, some with PETG handles on them. And here is a metal version out of 660 aluminum. And again, thanks so much for the competition. I just finished on Friday. I competed at the Outdoor Innovation Pitch Competition that was sponsored by Innovate Marquette and SISU. It was part of the Peak 26 conference. And I've been awarded $5,000 to get things rolling through Centropolis Accelerator. So I'm really excited about that. Next slide, please. Again, we're going to target the youth and the people just coming in hoping they never have to deal with that target panic. Again, the numbers look really good. I was told by the patent lawyer, it is patent pending, that once things catch on, he wouldn't be surprised a bit if I could get 1% of the market. And there were 230 million releases that were sold in 2024. Next slide, please. And here's our plan. Again, $50 for the 3D printed ones. This one here, $200 for the machine to acetyl, $300 for the aluminum. Next slide, please. And I'm the one who's got things started. Thanks to my brothers. They've been very helpful. My aunt and my uncle. Thank you very much to Innovate Marquette Smart Zone. They have been fantastic, great to work with. Very grateful for that. Next slide, please. Again, here's the final slide, and we think those projections are very conservative. Thank you.
Hey, great job. Judge Justin will start the questions and then followed by David and then Melissa.
Well, thank you for your presentation. This is very, very interesting. I do not shoot compound bows necessarily for hunting, but I do it for target practice periodically. And so I'm intrigued by how it works. And when you say you relax your forearm muscles, one of the advantages of a compound bow is the let off, right? And so I guess what I'm wondering is maybe from a safety perspective, you have to take an action to release with a standard index finger release, right? Is there a danger of a shooter getting tired lining up a shot or something like that, and because they're tired, relaxing to the point that the release goes off prematurely?
I don't think that's going to be an issue because I have video of a 4-year-old shooting a release, and Carson has probably shot the release about 1,000 times now, and he hasn't had any misfires. I mean, it's worked really great. In other words, draw with the release, not with a wrist strap, and all I do is relax the muscles in my forearm, my right forearm, and it pulls this rod back and releases the hook. That's how it works.
Okay. And can you talk a little bit more about when you say target panic, are you referring more to a hunting application? You know, I don't know. That's something I've necessarily really experienced.
Yeah, it can be both. I've been shooting for 50 years and went through a really bad bout of the target panic. In other words, that's wanting to, when the pin moves, and the pin always moves, is when the pin hits the bullseye, you want to flinch, you want to hit the target, hitting the trigger or thumb button, and I'm so grateful because what has really helped me with this is I just don't have the desire to want to do this. I just pull it up and I keep relaxing and I keep concentrating on work and just let it happen. It's just so much more fun to shoot.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Am I next?
Yes.
All right. Michael, thank you for this. Really interesting. What is coming to mind is what I recall in shooting guns in just a slow squeeze of the trigger, where it's not a jerk, it's just a steady draw. And if you're really good, it surprises you when it actually fires. And so by doing that, you're able to maintain your target. I think there's a similar theory going on here where you're just relaxing, and then when it happens, your body is moving your minimal motion, if I'm understanding. So I think that's I've never heard of anything. I do shoot archery. I bow hunt, and I'm not a very good bow hunter, and a lot of it's because there's a jerk in that when you do pull, and some excitement. You know, my question is, there's a lot of products on the market. It's pretty saturated. How do you plan to push this novel way of shooting against the flow?
Again, it is very different. People, when we were at the show, it was so fun to watch the pros, like Jimmy Lutz shot it, Kyle Douglas shot it, and the expression on their face was absolutely priceless because it is that different. So again, we plan on targeting the youth and the folks that are just starting out. Because the folks we really learned, the folks that have been shooting a long time and have been using a tension release for lots of years don't want to change. They don't. So we just plan on targeting the young folks and folks just getting in.
Next generation.
Yes.
Got it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Good, that segues into my question. So thank you, Michael, for the presentation. I will admit I am not a bow hunter, but I have a lot of people in my family that are, so this is very interesting. You say you target the youth starting out. would this be something that they just use in the beginning, or is this something that, somebody like David, who's this pro archery guy, would he still be using it after a while?
Yeah, this is a lifelong thing. In other words, I'm
Okay.
really hoping to work with the student, work with the kids, that they won't have to deal with that horrible target panic.
Okay,
That's my
because
goal.
that kind of
You-
sets them off and sets them against wanting to continue.
Yeah, yes.
And one
By,
more
by the
quick
way, my
thing,
name is Brian.
would it be allowed in archery competitions, or would this be against the rules?
No, it's allowed.
Okay. Sorry, I had to jump in because the time was running out.
Okay, thank you so much, judges. Our last competitor this evening is Richard Rogers. He is presenting on heating systems for electronics in cold climates. Once you see your slides, please give the thumbs up to start the time. Please remember to turn your video on. There should be a notification to turn your camera on. If you could please accept that.
Okay.
Ready? Give us a thumbs up when you're ready. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Richard Rogers. I'm in Kenai, Alaska. I am the founder of Tundra Electronics Incorporated, keeping technology alive when cold wants it dead. We are the only patented heating system with an active heater. Exciting piece of news. Last 2 weeks ago, we were contacted by Cornell University. They need help putting a robot on the top of Mount Everest, and they called us to help them do that. Next slide, please. So the problem is that cold kills electronics and batteries that kill the missions. 60% of battery capacity is lost when it hits 0 degrees. So you're stuck with what's left the rest of the day. What are the consequences? Someone like National Geographic or Discovery, they could miss $1 million photo, video. If you're lost, your GPS or a rescuer's GPS could freeze or die. That's a pretty serious condition. For military, mission failure could literally mean national security problems. Next slide, please. So Tundra came up with a solution, not just insulate your device, but to actively heat it. So we've added a heating system with a heater, battery, a PCB board, and a recharging unit. So we're heating the electronic to the optimal range in any type of weather. Drones, scanners, phones, all of these fail in cold weather. All of the parts we're using are US. We're targeting military, so everything has to be made in the US, all of our components. Next slide, please. So this is a few of our products that we've started with. Drones is a really big thing right now, especially with military and security. The heated phone case is something we made for the Air Force, so we have those on file. The Zebra scanner is very popular, we believe, going to be airlines, warehouse distribution centers, package delivery. And then the Tough Pad is a industry standard in the Arctic and definitely has problems. And as far as our future product lines, it literally is only limited to the amount of electronic devices there are. Next slide, please. So the market. Research says there's 120 million humans living in cold weather in North America. So over a 5-year period, we would target 9 to 12 million people, have them spend $200 to $300 each on our product, And that's a $2.4 billion revenue in 5 years, just in North America in those cold climates. Right now, the current solution, the number 1 and 2 solutions, commercially, they're spending $250 million a year across North America. And then the military is anywhere from 7 to 10 million per base all across the Arctic. Next slide, please. So our insulation with the heating system allows us to go beyond what any of our competition does. We're the only technology that has an active heater. So the thermostat tells the battery to come on, warms up the heating system, and when it's warm, tells it to shut it back off. So we have a proven temperature rating of 40 below zero, 12 hours plus of runtime, and we aren't stuck with just phones and tablets. We can do a multitude. We are DoD contractors registered on sam.gov. And it's not our focus right now, but we can do custom builds. Next slide, please. So real traction. In February, FedEx called me. They had a problem. None of their scanners were working. I had a heated scanner case. They bought it in February. That's leading to a paid pilot. The military, we have traction with the 11th Airborne. We met with them today. Iron Axe and Iceman Spark are both military. Drone and security is where we're headed with them. And again, Cornell University reached out to have us help them put a robot on the top of Mount Everest. And we're also looking at supporting some Antarctic expeditions. Next slide, please. So it's the team, myself, Richard Rogers, 3rd generation Alaskan. Paul is going to be our operations lead. Aurora's our finance. Sophie works in the shop with me. Caliente and PNC are both military vendors that are our support. And I don't believe we would be where we're at without the University of Fairbanks. Next slide. Thank you very much.
Well done. We will now begin with Peter, Emily, and then Jim. What are your questions about this idea?
Good afternoon, or good evening, I should say, Richard. Thank you for the presentation. So my question relates to the heating aspect of it. You mentioned that it's an active heater, so it warms up whatever electronics is inside the component of the Tundra product. Do you have any thoughts on if it will overheat that device, and what are the internal temperatures that it will raise the interior of the product if you've got a phone or a laptop inside it? Do you have any knowledge or information on what temperatures it actually raises it to, and do you have any worry that it will overheat?
When we started this, yes, that was a huge worry, was overheating it. So what we've done is we've designed and built PCB boards that have dual thermostats in them. So that is one when it reaches temperature. So we're able to set those temperature ranges. And then the heater and the battery are different volts. So the battery would never allow the heater to overheat. So we're 95% positive we will not overheat your electronic. We haven't had that happen yet.
Great. Emily, over to you.
Thank you, and great presentation. My question is about the markets that you're looking to target. A number of those and some of the examples that you're working on now seem to require a very rugged product, that there would be the potential that it would need to survive quite a bit. Thinking of the robot on Mount Everest or some military applications. Have you done any tests for impact resistance or anything like that that would prove its survivability in those types of applications?
Yes, ma'am, we have. We do both 3D cases and then we do fabric cases. So they have insulation built into them. They are drop proof from about 6 or 7 feet. The fabric we use is Bender or military certified, military grade. So it's very heavy duty. I'm not worried about dropping the electronic when it's inside. It's very rugged. We use a company out of Seattle that is Mid-Mountain Materials, and they have some top of the line, real rugged materials.
Great, thank you so much. Jim, you're up.
All right, thank you. Hey, great presentation. Just kind of curious on this. Obviously, you've kind of gone through it a bit, but what kind of bulk and weight does this add to everything? I mean, everybody's always worried about carrying more, and usually with my phone, I'd stick it inside my jacket. So I'm just kind of curious, how big does this thing get, and what's it going to weigh?
Can I show you one?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be hard with my background. Sorry.
It
So
looks like
you
it's
kind of
just
see
a case on your phone.
it's about the same size as a Defender, or excuse me, OtterBox. Um, and our batteries are lightweight. The PCB boards are 1 inch by 1 inch. We do have all the specs for that because the militaries are really specific. For some of the drones, the heating system we told them was under 1 pound.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Peter.
Yeah, as we've got another just shy of 2 minutes. You highlighted the size of your market, and you mentioned about other defense members of the ecosystem that you're working with. If there was a group in Alaska that said, "Hey, Tundra and Richard, I want 20 of the phone cases today for operations," how would you scale in Alaska to provide products for Alaskan civilians like myself, Emily, and Jim? What's your sort of your plans to be able to build this up beyond where you are today in Alaska?
Well, we do have a shop here in Kenai, so we can do some manufacturing. We have 3D printers. We can build the heating systems here. Um, we've had contacts, especially for the military side, with a company in Indiana, and that was Heinz for the big products. Something along the lines of 20, we would probably be able to handle here fairly quickly in Kenai. For the larger scales, we would want to get Caliente Heinz involved. And then we also have a different company for the commercial side. The military's asked us to keep those separate. And what that looks like is specific products cost so much to set up for production. So we have some of those already done. Scaling would look like, $10,000 to $12,000 to get 6 or 8 commercial products ready to go full on. About doing it in Alaska, there are a couple manufacturing companies in Alaska we've talked to, but they're so busy right now with all of their own stuff. Otherwise, we'd love to keep it in Alaska, but military for sure will have to go probably Indiana.
Okay, great. Appreciate that, Richard. And we're about at time. So thank you for your presentation, and pass it back to the AIC staff.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
Okay, this will be a last call for Dorothy. Is Dorothy here? If you could please raise your hand on Zoom. Alrighty. Thank you so much, judges, and thank you, competitors. It's a huge deal to make it into the AIC semifinals.
We appreciate all the hard work and creativity you've put into your ideas, and you all did a fabulous job presenting.
Please tune in tomorrow evening at the same time and same place for the next 5 presentations.
Don't forget to vote on your fan favorite idea once per day before finals and the award ceremony. Thank you and good night.
Recording